वेलकम फ्रेंड्स। आज इस वीडियो में हम एक प्रैक्टिकल शो कॉज नोटिस को डिकोड करेंगे, अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे कि शो कॉज नोटिस को कैसे हमें रीड करना है, कैसे उसको रिप्लाई करना है, क्या क्या इश्यूज हैं शो कॉज नोटिस के अंदर। पिछले 20 to 25 डेज के अंदर आपने देखा होगा कि जो दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट का स्टेट जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट है, उन्होंने बल्क के अंदर मशीन मेड नोटिस सेंड किए हैं थाउजेंड्स ऑफ टैक्स पेयर्स को फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 17-18। Most of the show cause notices have been issued under section 73 of the CGST or DGST Act 2017। तो आज हम बात करेंगे कि क्या ये शो कॉज नोटिसेस वैलिड हैं इन द आईज ऑफ लॉ, क्या इनको रिप्लाई करना है या इनको रिप्लाई नहीं करना है, अगर रिप्लाई करना है तो किस तरीके से इनको रिप्लाई करना है, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली यही डॉक्यूमेंट है, यही शो कॉज नोटिस है और इसी की रिप्लाई जो हम फाइल करेंगे, अगर अमाउंट ज्यादा है तो यही फाउंडेशन जो है ट्रैवल करेगी अप टू दी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। आई एम विनोद कौशिक, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग माय यूट्यूब चैनल एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन। आप मेरी स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हैं कि मेरे पास एक शो कॉज नोटिस है, इनफॉर्म DRC 01 रेड विद रूल 100 सब रूल 2 एंड रूल 142 सब रूल 1A। आपने देखा कि ऑफिसर ने DRC 01 की समरी के साथ यहां लिख तो दिया कि 142 1A और 102 को फॉलो रेड विद करके ये उसने नोटिस इशू किया, समरी इशू करी। लेकिन अब आप देखना इसकी क्वांटिटी, इसकी क्वालिटी जो है, इसके इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं जो शो कॉज नोटिस के, अब उनके बारे में हम बात करेंगे, लीगली बात करेंगे और फैक्चुअली भी बात करेंगे कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स के बारे में। सबसे पहले रेफरेंस नंबर ठीक है, उसके बाद ये आती है इसकी डेट ऑफ इशुएंस 25 ऑफ सितंबर 2023। एसएससी की डिटेल्स मैंने हाइड करी हैं, ये फाइनेंशियल ईयर है 17-18 और ये यहाँ पे रेफरेंस है अंडर सेक्शन 73 और यहाँ पे इसकी समरी है एज यू कैन सी। पहले मैं समरी दिखा रहा हूँ क्योंकि समरी के अंदर ब्रीफ फैक्ट्स, अटैचमेंट, ग्राउंड्स, अटैचमेंट और यहाँ पे उसने समरी दे दी कि मेरी डिमांड क्या है। यहाँ पे उसने फाइनेंशियल ईयर दिया। Importantly, the tax rate is zero. Tax rate is zero. Turnover zero. Period mentioned. Act, CGST, SGST, POS not applicable. I think POS is not important for him. And he has mentioned tax as 110,821, 110,821. I mean, tax and interest are equal. Tax and interest are equal. This can be a coincidence only. But if you see 2000 notices everywhere, these are equal. Can they be equal? 17-18 till 23-24, can they be equal? It shows non-application of mind while making summary. Ground number one. Fault number one, non-application of mind. Other minute faults, summary incomplete. Summary was drafted in haste because the necessary columns are not filled. Tax and interest cannot be equal. So this shows that the officer has not calculated interest by application of his mind with proper due diligence. The machine has calculated, or due to paucity of time, he has just entered any figure. So just entering any figure, let's see the fate of this shock of notice. Document, supporting document attached by the officer. Shock of notice is attached and the things are given. Here you can see that date by which reply has to be submitted 25th of October, date of PH 30th of October, time, venue. This particular show cause notice here looks good because he has given the PH after the date of due date of submission of records. But if you see most of the notices, somewhere, if due date of reply 25th, the PH was given on 20th of October. That is the mockery of system. They are making the mockery of system. Yet they are saying that you can reply within 30 days, but you have to attend the PH before that. So it shows, technically, legally, it shows that the intention of officer is not to grant PH. Intention to grant PH absent. If intention to grant PH absent means violation of natural justice. If there is a violation of natural justice, show cause notice bad. Show cause notice not valid because there is no personal hearing granted in substance. The officer does not want to grant PH. He doesn't want to listen to you and he just want to pass the adjudication orders and inform DRC 07. So this ground has to be taken if the date of PH is before the date of due date of submission of the reply, because the notice has to be replied within 30 days. At least 30 days time has to be given to discharge tax, interest, etc. to avoid the penalty. So now I'm going to the attachment. This document, friends, is very, very important. Very, very important. Earlier we discussed that was the summary of demand. But now this document is critical. Let's understand, let's read this notice carefully. The attachment says the description, the DIN is given. DIN is not mandatory for the State Department, but it is given, so it's not a big issue. If it is given, it can be verified. We can verify that. The other details are given. Now come to the two important aspects, friends. The show cause notice has to be a speaking show cause notice, and it has to have, it is mandatory, most important, two elements, friends. The first one is the allegations. An allegation supported by what? Evidences. Allegations supported by evidences. Suppose I am saying to someone that you have stolen my watch. This is an allegation. And I have this CCTV footage of that particular event. Suppose a person came to my home. My watch was lying on my table. He took that watch and went away. I have a CCTV camera installed in my home. So I checked my CCTV camera and I found the recording of the CCTV. And I lodged a formal complaint with the police. So I have two important ingredients. I am making an allegations against Mr. A that he has taken my watch without my permission. So there was a theft. But it is not a mere allegation, friends. I have the credible evidences also to support my allegations. I have the CCTV footage, time, the image of that person, everything is given. The moment he is stealing my watch, that is also captured in the camera. So taking that example into GST, let's see whether this officer is only making allegations or he is having some credible evidences also. So the officer is only making allegations. Let's analyze that. The first point, he says that you have filed the GSTR 9 for the financial year 17-18, and on examination of the information, etc., I found that there is a mismatch, etc., between your 2A, 1, 3B, etc., and you have not declared any correct liability by filing annual return. The summary is given below. I think the officer has not understood the procedure, the mechanism, and the hierarchy in the GST Act. If there is a discrepancy between the information or the returns filed by me, the taxpayer, he has to first issue the ASMT 10 under section 61. Before that, after issuing ASMT 10, he can issue show cause notice under 73 if I'm not replying to it. So this ground can also be taken that it was a pure case of discrepancies between the returns. He is mentioning the returns, but nevertheless, he can issue show cause notice. There is no bar in the law. So he is saying that you have not declared proper information, therefore there is a consequent liability to the tune of 21642. The details are given below. Let's understand the first allegation. The first allegation is that excess claim of ITC, the excess input tax credit claimed on account of non-reconciliation of information under section 16(2)(c), every person shall be entitled to take ITC if the tax has been actually paid to the government. And it is observed that you have not correctly availed input tax credit, inform GSTR 9. ITC to be reversed on non-business transactions and exempt supplies. Here comes the key allegations. He is making allegations for availment of excess input tax credit by making violations of 17(1)(2) and Rule 42 and 43. Let me give you a brief of that. 17(2) basically says that if you are making two kinds of supplies, the one is the taxable supply, the other is the exempt supply, then the common input tax credit which has been availed and which has been utilized against these two kinds of supplies, which is taxable as well as exempt, you have to reverse the proportionate input tax credit which is attributable to the exempt supply. This is the summary of that. Now my officer, learned officer, what he is doing is, he is not applying his mind. He is simply relying on the machines, the data, the data thrown by the GSTN. He is saying that in GSTR 9 you have declared total supplies of 2,82,92,359. Non-application of mind. You are showing exempt supplies to the tune of 248,63205, and by taking these two figures, I calculate a proportion of 0.87, ani the exempt supply divided by total supply. I come across a proportion of 0.87. And since you have claimed the 159,732 as a total input tax credit, he is referring the total input tax credit as a common input tax credit. Non-application of mind, friends. The Rule 42 says that there is a process exclusively for exempt supplies. Exclusively for exempt supply, sorry for the interruption, exclusively for the exempt supply. But now he has simply, without making any reference, the entire input tax credit has been taken as a common input tax credit. Non-application of mind, the show cause notice need to be quashed by the higher authorities. Importantly, where is the IGST now? The entire show cause notice is focusing only on the C and the S. Where is I? Because he is my officer and he is authorized officer for the purpose of IGST also. IGST is missing. ये तो लकीर के फकीर है, इनको तो सिस्टम ने जो डेटा थ्रो कर दिया वो इन्होंने ले लिया, इन्होंने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया आईजीएसटी में क्या है, आईजीएसटी में भी क्रेडिट लिया हुआ है हमने, तो वहां पर भी तो रिवर्सल होना चाहिए. Non application of mind. Honorable courts will say, officer, you have not applied your mind while issuing this show cause notice. So this show cause notice need to be quashed. It has, I mean, out of 10, it will get only 1 or 2 marks. Since the common input tax credit has been taken on a wrong parameters, the show cause notice need to be quashed. One more catch. He's saying that this is an exempt supply. So exempt supply has been defined under section 2. And this particular case is pertaining to a visa agent. He is an agent who is into the business of arranging visa for various countries, particularly for China, America, etc., etc. And he is basically having two kinds of items in his invoice. One is the visa fees, and other item is service charges. Suppose you come that I want a visa for China. So he says, my service fees is 500 rupees and I charge 18% GST on that. So you have to particularly pay me 590 rupees for my fee, and you have to pay 2000 rupees as a visa fees, which I will pay to the embassy as it is, without making any profit, no profit at all. So I will charge you 2590 rupees. So this 2000 rupees is a item which is technically called as a reimbursement of a pure agent. And reimbursement of a pure agent is neither a supply of goods nor a supply of service. It is excluded while calculating the aggregate turnover. It has to be calculated. It has to be excluded again while calculating this 42, 43, 17, 1, 2 reversal. So he has not applied his mind and put up the entire figure of exempt supplier that visa fees here. So friends, this show cause notice need to be quashed, and this aspect has been categorically clarified by CBIC in one of its flyer. You can comment upon. My team will send you the flyer also, which is very, very comprehensive and making a deep dive into the concept of pure agency. So we have discussed one aspect. The allegations are incorrect. There is no evidence at all. So of course notice need to be quashed. Second point. My officer says that the machine has given me some data. And as per the data given by machine, I have not applied my mind because I don't have that much of time to draft show cause notices. So my machine says that HSN code 4412 plywood, you have taken plywood. If that is plywood, I don't see anything else. If there is a plywood, I see 17.5 C&D attracted. He doesn't understand what is 17.5D. 17.5D. 17.5, the reference of 17.5D is not there, friends. He is making a very broad reference of 17.5. 17.5 is having number of clauses, very detailed, very, very detailed. Blocking of input tax credit under GST. 17.5 C and D are specifically dealing with these items. And my case particularly dealing with 17.5D. If an item is used for construction of an immovable property, then only ITC has to be disallowed. And if that expenditure has been booked as a revenue expenditure, ITC need not to be disallowed. My friends, this disallowance, proposed disallowance is altogether void, because plywood as such can be used for making movable properties also. For example, I'm buying plywood to make the chairs, and chairs are easily movable. To make the tables, to make some almiras, which are easily movable nowadays. They are not affixed to the earth. Honorable Supreme Court in various cases has said immovable property means a property which is permanently attached to the earth and which cannot be moved without dismantling. Chairs, tables, etc., they can easily moved. So the question of immovability does not arise at all. The question of the allegations itself is bad, not complete, incomplete. So the show cause notice need to be quashed. So he has here in the last, he has given the list also, which has no significance because he has mentioned the invoice number, etc., etc. So friends, in this video, we have discussed two important allegations. I hope you enjoyed this video. You have got some insights on how to reply show cause notices, how to understand basically show cause notices. There can be n number of allegations. With this, I conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching this. Have a nice day.